Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursdays, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men because frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and it is my pleasure to bring to you yet another king. In fact, his last name is King. Pastor Ed King is married, a father, he's a pastor. He has been a recording engineer since he was 16 years old, and now is moving into production and songwriting, and we'll soon have an EP coming out, so stay tuned for that. Like with all the other men, he has been chosen not just because of what he does, but for the positive impact that he is making on his family and his community. So with that, Pastor Ed, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure, my honor. Thank you, Val.
Absolutely. And so, sir, you know already that we ask the same 6 questions because we're creating a repository of questions and answers with the goal of perhaps having a young king one day who does not have positive Black male role models in his life. He can come to this repository, see the same questions, but see different answers from all these different Black men and perhaps find himself and some guidance there. And then similarly for a young Black king who may be surrounded by positive Black male role models, he too can come to the repository, see these questions and these different answers, and also find guidance and inspiration there. And then finally, for the rest of us who are neither male or perhaps Black, that we too can come and learn more about this whole group of people that, in my mind, has been maligned, is not really seen writ large, that we have seen mostly negative things, particularly in the media about it, but many of us know that that is not the full story. And so we want to contribute to the truth and to the full story. And so I'm so glad you're here. And with that, I'm going to get started with the first question, which is, what does manhood mean to you?
What does manhood mean to me? That's such a great question. For me, manhood, a real man, a good man, is ambidextrous, right? And so what I mean by that is a good man is able to be 2 things on the polar opposite side of the spectrum. So they're able to be hard when they need to, but then they're able to be soft when they need to, right? They're able to, especially when you're raising children, sometimes there are times where you got to raise your voice, right? So sometimes there are times where you got to put your foot down. But then there are some times that there's a need for a hug or a soft kiss on the forehead. And I think a good man has the ability to be ambidextrous, to be able to do both, not either or, but to be both and. A good man is able to be a good leader and a follower, right? I think a man, an adult man, should be able to be ambidextrous.
What a great answer. Thank you. Thank you so much. So who and or what is important to you?
Who and or what is important to me? I think the answer to both of those questions, the who and the what, is the same answer. And that would be my family. My family is extremely important to me, both my household and my extended family, my parents and my brothers and my sister and my nieces and my nephews. That's who and what is most important to me, for sure.
That's great. Thank you. So, Pastor Ed, how do you want us to see you?
So we're being honest, right?
Absolutely.
In all honesty, Val, I really don't care how people see me. What I really care about is how I see myself. And so I'm working on how I see myself. And the way I would like to see myself is someone who's imperfectly perfect, right? In other words, someone that God created, and God created this individual who has flaws, but even the flaws have a purpose. So it's all right for me to not be as tall as I want to be, not be as handsome as I want to be, not be as built as I want to be, not be as articulate as I want to be, realizing that God created me. And when I look in the mirror, I'm fine. I'm perfectly imperfect. So that's really what I care about, or really what I'm trying to achieve. I'll say it like that.
Got it. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm totally taking that. I'm going to give you credit for it, but I'm totally taking that. Perfectly imperfect. I love it. I love it. Also, so Pastor Ed, what is your epic dream?
My epic dream. What is my epic dream? So your main audience is for young kings, right?
Yes, but I'm finding that lots of other people are reading it. So it could be, you could talk to the young king, or you could talk to the king who used to be young, or the queens who need some inspiration. So, and so it could be a multi-part answer too. It doesn't have to be just one answer. This is your answer. No edits.
Got you. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but okay, got you. my epic dream. I would answer this question like this, because I think it's important for people to know that it's okay for your epic dream to change. I think if your epic dream doesn't change, then you're not growing as a person. So like my epic dream when I was 20, 21 years old, 22 years old, was to be the gospel Puffy. Right. I wanted to be the one to take gospel all over the world. And I wanted to be, it's already all over the world, but a different type of sound, anyway, a gospel Puffy. Right. I wanted to have this grand success, right, when I was in my early 20s. But then when I answered the call to preach the word, then my epic dream was to be like some pastor with the fastest growing church and a banging music ministry and da 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 da. But now that I'm 45 years old, and I'm not settling for less, but I am content with what God is allowing us to do. My epic dream, honestly, is for my daughter. We only have one child. Is for my daughter to love what she does when she wakes up in the morning. Because I know how important that is. That do what you would do, even if nobody was paying you, right? Because that's what's going to push you to wake up in the morning, even when there's no paycheck. I think it was Quincy Jones who said, if you do what you love, the money will come, right? So that's my epic dream when I was 25, take over the world through music. My epic dream when I was 35, late 30s, take over the world with church. But now, as a 45-year-old man, my epic dream has now switched to making sure my daughter has everything she needs and she's prepared to be everything she wants to be in life.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. Thank you. See, that was cool. No edits necessary. See? Awesome. Excellent. So, Pastor, I think you've actually answered this question implicitly, but I want to ask you explicitly. Who are you?
Who am I? So usually when someone asks that question, the answer to that question is not who they are, but what they do. So usually someone will say, well, who are you? Oh, I'm a preacher. Who are you? I'm a songwriter. Who are you? I'm a truck driver. Who are you? I'm a carpenter, whatever. But that's not really who you are. That's what you do. But who I am is, and I just recently discovered this, very recently discovered this. Who I am is I'm a helper, right? I'm a helper. I'm not the guy who has this big dream come true. I'm the guy who helps other people's dreams come true, right? If you study the story of Joseph was never number one. Joseph was always the number two guy, holding the number one guy up, making sure everything stayed in place, right? Throughout his whole life. He was number two to his father. He was number two to Potiphar. He was number two to Pharaoh. He was always number two. He was number two to the jailer, right? He was always number two. And it's So I'm not going to say I'm a great basketball player, but I like basketball, right? And so Michael Jordan, of course, I'm from the era where I believe Michael Jordan, not LeBron James, is the greatest basketball player of all time, right? so with that whole special, that whole ESPN special, you would think that in that analogy that the number 2 was Scottie Pippen, right? You got Mike and you got Scottie, but it goes even deeper than that. With the special, we were introduced to a guy named Gus, right? His security guard, if you look back at the special, you'll find a guy named Gus was his security guard, and he went everywhere with Mike, right? He was the guy that Mike would call at 3:00 in the morning because he was crying his eyes out because his father just passed away. And so Gus would drop what he was doing and run to Mike, right? I'm the guy, I'm the helper, I'm the guy, I don't need to be known. Nobody knew about Gus until this ESPN special, right? So who am I? I'm the helper. I'm the guy, I don't need to be known. I don't need the accolades. I don't need all of that. I'm just here to support somebody else and help their dreams come true.
You better preach. I heard anybody break down Joseph's life in that way, but oh my goodness, I see him in a completely different way. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And it's so obvious it's right in front of us, but we never talk about it. Thank you for that. I have a dear friend who's been kind of like my right hand for years, and she always says, God didn't give me the vision. He just put me in the plan. What do I need to do? You know, and I love that. And I'm so grateful for that, because we all have our positions in the ecosystem. If you think of the world as a sphere, there's room for everybody to kind of latch on in the sphere to move, keep things moving. If we just do our part, whatever that part is, and not to either try to do something else that somebody else has been given to do, or belittle the gift that we've been given, because we need it all. And that was such a beautiful breakdown. I'm going to go back and listen to that one again. That was awesome. And I watched the special. That was good. Awesome. So we've come to question 6, which is, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? So basically, what did I miss?
Well, I wouldn't say you missed anything, but I would say if I could add something, it would be what's my biggest regret? And so my biggest regret are all the things that I started and stopped. My biggest regret is that it took me 45 years and some months to learn the value of process. That you got to start something, you got to stay with it, you got to fight for it. And it's not till you get to the end of the process that you receive the prize. So my biggest regret are the things that I started and did not continue with. But I declare today that life begins at 45. So these things that I've now started, I am not going to let them go.
Yes. That's awesome. Yet another gem. You know, I've been learning that this year around process. I've been learning over the last few years. I've been working on a project that literally for everyone else, it's like you go from step A to step B to step C to step D. And I thought I was going to go literally from A to Z like that. And so what I'm learning, God is showing me that I need to go from A to B. And then sometimes I need to go back to A and then go back to B. I may get up to C, and then I find myself back at A for whatever reason. And I'm learning. I said to a friend recently, I don't even cry anymore when this inevitable, obstacle comes in the way. I'm just like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. This is part of the process. So I'm so glad to hear you say that. And what did you say? You're declaring it today. Life starts at 45. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Gray hair and all.
Oh, it looks good. Well, that was it. Those are the 6 questions. It was amazing talking to you. I just thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom, really deep pearls of wisdom, as well as your insights. And I know that will be someone who is impacted as much as I've been just listening here. I know that there will be others. And so I appreciate you giving of yourself of that. And I just wanted to acknowledge, I remember, I think my first consciousness of you was actually in a recording studio. I think we had met before, but there were all these other things like church or something, my dad, all these things before. But, and then certainly after that one encounter, then you were like in my consciousness, and then I started seeing you on social media and just listening to your words of wisdom, and just really grateful that I get to see you flourish. I get to see how you shepherd your flock. I get to see how you are in the world. And I'm grateful on behalf of the people who are in your life that they get to be in fellowship and community with you. And so I just want to thank you, and I honor you, my King, Pastor King. and thank you so much again for being here with us. And I want to thank you for joining us for this week's interview. Please stay tuned for next week for yet another interview with yet another amazing king. If there is a special king in your life that you want to highlight in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio or DM me, and we'll take it from there. And in the meantime, please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thanks. Thank you so much, Pastor Ed.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you for the call.